One is over $45 billion in new developments, and one is the #1 ranked city school district in the entire Columbus area. Dublin or New Albany? Where should you live? Well, let's get into it. Roll the intro.
From shining through, it's true, baby, let the light shine through, if you believe it's true.
You know, we just got a call a few weeks back about a family looking to make that relocation here to Columbus, and they asked us the age-old question, Dublin or New Albany? And I had to say, it was kind of a no-brainer for them. You see, they had a daughter that was going into the 7th grade, and they said one of the biggest and most important things for us is the education. So obviously we took all the factors into consideration and figured out what avenue was the best one for them. And just like that, there's no one size fits all for all of these topics. Dublin and New Albany, they're both fantastic in their own right. One of the biggest things that really separates Dublin as a whole is the community and the vibe. And it's the same thing with New Albany too. You see, Dublin was named after Dublin, which is in Ireland. So they obviously have that amazing Irish festival that gets pretty rowdy. And if you haven't gone to that and you live in Columbus, you're wilding. You should 100% go. But it's an amazing atmosphere that is surrounded by a lot of people in tech. It's families in their 20s and 30s that are looking to build relationships, develop strong bonds in the community, and ultimately give back and have a sense of camaraderie like none other. In New Albany, it's a little bit on the older side, a little bit more, with the right terminology, bougie than anything else. You see, we're going to talk about home prices, and we're going to talk about what specifically separates them in the later parts of the video, but both of these locations have a strong sense of unity amongst each other. It's just the little nuances that makes them so different. And it's not just me saying this. Wallet Hub in 2021 actually named Dublin as the best place to live in all of Ohio. I know, that's pretty lit. So when you're thinking about it from a community standpoint, Dublin has a lot of shopping malls. It has a lot of close-knit environments, and ultimately it has a lot of parks as well. You see, Dublin has over 60 parks and over 1,300 acres of green spaces with over 150 miles of bike path. A water park and also hidden waterfalls. There's always something to do and always something to explore, which makes it pretty legit. And New Albany, on the other hand, is known for its meticulously crafted location. You see, New Albany is sophistication at its finest. The Olentangy area in, well, all of Columbus is some of the most bougie and some of the most expensive area alike. New Albany, as we know it in Lincoln County, is kind of up there in echelon. One of the things that I love about New Albany more than anything else is it's got shops and little boutiques area that we can just go out, have a cup of coffee, and just kind of walk the environment and have a really fun time there with myself and my family. And you see the community places a really strong notion on arts, with venues like the McCoy Center for the Arts hosting various performances and events. Additionally, New Albany offers family-friendly activities, including parks, gardening, museums, making it an inviting area for everyone. When one of our clients called us from Washington to make that move here, she told us, dude, they have yogas here? And I was like, yeah, because one of the things about New Albany is, I mean, it's the winter's crazy right now. But during the summertime, they have community yoga events in the green spaces. You see, both of these locations have definitely a strong sense of heritage and a strong sense of community. And we're going to talk about the technological growth that's happening in both of these locations because they're so much actively growing that it's amazing to see. But if you're wondering where should you go because of community, where should you go because you want to feel belonged, and where should you go because you want to feel, well, I guess liked, Dublin is going to be the location if you're in your 30s, 40s, you got a kid, you're looking for a really good school district system, and you're looking for a place where you got a lot of like-minded people. New Albany is going to be the place if you have more of a settled job. You're pretty far along into your career field, and you're maybe in your 40s and 50s. Now, I'm not saying live there, I'm also not saying live here, because both of these locations hosts varieties of people that everyone loves. But from a wavelengths perspective, you're definitely going to see one kind of group in one location more prominently put than the other. Now, I'm from Nepal, right? So for fun, what we did was we played tag, ran around, and that was about it. So when people that are living in Columbus say there's nothing to do, I always get shocked. I'm like, have you taken a step outside? There's always something to do, and places like Dublin and New Albany are pioneers for these things. You see, in Dublin, there's so many activities. I'm gonna have pictures and videos here so you can actually see it, but going to the Columbus Zoo, for example, I mean, it's a no-brainer and it's kind of worldly recognized. To the actual Irish Festival, which has over 100,000 people that come there every single year. To just walking on the lake. And fun fact, if you didn't know, Dublin is home to the longest single tower S-shaped suspension bridge ever. Whoa, that's pretty cool, I personally think so. But when I tell you there's always something to do, for your family, there's always something to do. And let me tell you, New Albany is no slacker when it comes to activities as a whole. Again, I'm gonna have videos here from both my Instagram, my family, and also just all across social media as a whole. But let me tell you, from activities like the New Albany Link, which is the golf course and is home to an 18 golf course with rolling hills, creeks, wetlands, and native grasses and trees. The course also contains a full-service restaurant with 16 flat-screen TVs. If that's not bougie, I don't know what is. That's pretty fire when you think about it. And if you're not a golfer, which I get, I'm just learning myself how to actually play, there's also other things that exist too, like the Plain Towership Aquatic Center, which is a free attraction with an 8-lane pool, 2 water slides, and kids-friendly interactive play area. You and your kids can actually take swimming lessons there as well, which is super duper rad. To the Western Community Park that exists too. Now, New Albany isn't going to be your hippity-doo-dah kind of location, right? You're not going to go here if you're looking to party and go to raves. You are going to go here when you have a family, you're settled down, and you want to go outside and enjoy nature every here and there. Now, let me tell you, both Dublin and New Albany are not lacking when it comes to family-friendly activities. The question just becomes for you, what specifically are you looking for? Reynoldsburg, Pataskala, Blacklick, and even places that are developing even further east from those locations. But places like Dublin and New Albany, let me tell you, you're not really going to get something for $250,000 to $300,000. When you think about the cost of living from a household approach, Dublin's median cost of living right now in terms of a house is $537,907, whereas New Albany's is $595,568. Both of these locations are definitely up compared to the median price range in the entire country, which is around $450,000. But at the same time, a lot of our clients and a lot of people are actively still looking at these locations for one big thing: safety, right? And with safety, it also comes education, camaraderie, and a sense of community. And a lot of people, including our clients, are looking at these locations for two specific things. Number one is safety, and number two is education. You see, for the most part, these are considered the best locations in all of Central Ohio. And it's not me saying this, I can't say this. It is data that is backing this up. It is factual evidence of people actively looking to make these locations home that I get to confidently say people are making New Albany home. You got multi-billion-dollar companies that are moving here left and right. There's a reason that they're doing that, you know what I mean? And with that being said, the other caveat is as more and more companies actively make this home, appreciation is going to go up, but that also means the cost of a home is going to go up. So there's always different caveats and there's always different things to consider when you're actively looking to make that move anywhere. And you know what's actually ironic about this is the cost of living in both these locations is 8% less than the national average. However, the cost of a property is a lot more expensive. Now I'm going to read you some data here that we got from this source. You can see the information as I'm reading it down below. But one of the things about Dublin and New Albany, specifically in terms of how much it costs to buy produce and to buy things as a whole, is read here. Now I'm going to show you here from Bell Moving Storage the actual cost of living in terms of living expenses. So it says 1 pound of white rice is $1.30, 1 pound of apples is $2.17, 1 head of lettuce is $2.10, 1 gallon of gasoline $3.64, average utility bill is $238, and 1 pair of jeans is $59. And the source was Numbeo. And also what you're hearing is New Albany's apartments are $1,577, and the median cost of a home has definitely shifted and gone up. So when you're thinking about all these things, obviously take the actual numbers behind it into consideration, because that's vital and super critical. Now, you see, as a man in my 20s, education really isn't that important for me. Now, I'm not saying it's not important. I'm saying I don't have kids yet, so I don't have to necessarily worry about where am I sending them to the best schools. When I eventually do have children, I'm definitely gonna start thinking about Dublin, New Albany, and start considering all the facts, right? But right now in Reynoldsburg, with a lot of the developments that are happening as it is, and with all of our family actually living here, it's kind of a no-brainer for me personally. For you, if you're thinking about making a move and you have children and you're considering all of these locations, listen, Dublin and New Albany both have it in the bag. That's the correct quote, apparently. But let me tell you, from a niche.com perspective, Dublin is currently ranked as the #1 best school district in all of the Columbus area, with an A+ overall niche grade rating, A in academics, A+ in teachers, A in clubs and activities, B+ in diversity, A+ in college prep, and A+ in admissions. I mean, that's got that in the bag. Twice I've used that phrase. When you think about education from a holistic perspective, and it's not just one school or one location, to have an entire school district that's the number one in the entire area, that says something. And if you look at the population size, it has 16,000 students in grades PK and K through 12, with a student-to-teacher ratio of 18:1. According to the state test scores, 73% of the students are at least proficient in math, and 77% are proficient in writing. I mean, yeah, it makes sense why the price tag is so much higher and why the homes are so much more shiny. The education is speaking for itself, right? Dublin is selling itself quite literally and figuratively with the educational perspective. As you start traversing and start looking at all these locations, education is going to be vital. And its proximity to the zoo will be a nice little added bonus. So take all these things into consideration as well. Dublin was also ranked second as a district with the best teachers in Ohio, fifth in the best school district overall, and sixth as the best place to teach. Some of the reviews that you're going to see from people as a whole are like this. I have attended Dublin school since kindergarten. Most of the teachers are great and caring. Some are checked out. I know it is a great district because of the resources available to me as a student. Faculties are okay. My high school is renovated, but it's still too small for the influx of students. Overall, I'm glad that I was able to attend Dublin school for my K-12 experience. Aw. And if you look at the overall ratings, there's only 2 that are 1 stars. You know, personally, I don't rate anything 5 stars. If I'm gonna write something at a rating, I'm gonna give it a 1 star. So the fact that people are going out of their ways to actually write this and give it a 5 star, that tells me all that I need to know. Let's also look at this 1-star review and see what they say. Well, technically it's only one 1-star review. This guy just put it in twice. The school culture has a superiority complex. Sports team and staff leaders insult to the rural city school district for being poor farmers. Students cheated on tests to get into honors program, and the parents and teacher micromanage students' entire academic life. I had a major injury and had to miss school for several doctor appointments. My counselor called me into her office to tell me that I missed an hour of class a week for my recovery time, that I would not go to college. Ouch, that's not good. Yeah, everyone has their own experiences. Obviously, do your own research before you make a move to any location. But I wanted to read you a pro and I wanted to read you a con because, again, everyone has different perspectives. The one thing that I am seeing here, 75-star reviews and 1-star review. Now let's also look at New Albany as a whole, because when you look at New Albany, I mean, some of the coolest things are it's ranked as the 2nd best school in the entire Columbus area, with an A+ overall niche grade rating, A+ in academics, A in teachers, A+ in clubs and activities, B in diversity, A+ in college prep, and A in admissions. Overall, I mean, New Albany is a top-rated public school. It has 5,101 students with grades PK and K through 12. A student-to-teacher ratio of 18:1, and according to state test scores, 83% of the students are at least proficient in math and 84% in writing. Now, when you think about that data, I also want you to consider that Dublin has almost double the size of New Albany from a student's perspective. So overall, the numbers are going to be a little bit more skewed, but they're both really good, is what I'm trying to say. When you look at the district rating, it was ranked 7th as the best school district in all of Ohio. It was ranked 15th as the best school district for athletics in Ohio, and 28th as the best place to teach. And that is really important. Why? Because teachers need to be happy. They're quite literally molding the minds of our children, your children. So you want to make sure that children are getting happy teachers, that they're getting teachers that actually like their jobs, because we've all, and I know you have, we've all had the experience with that one guy teacher that would literally lay on his desk, eat Doritos, and give us packets of homework. I remember 5th grade. It was 4 months ago. But for the most part, what I am trying to say, these jokes are so bad. What I am trying to say, the teachers are happy. And I think that's really critical, especially for the growth of your children. Now, as we start looking at the reviews, 65 reviews, 32 of them are 5 stars. Let me read you 1 5-star and 1 1-star. I went to my school since 7th grade and loved all my teachers. There are classes for all kinds of art, from music to visual to photography. There are many clubs for social activism, religion, and interest. My school was also very interested in encouraging academics in all areas. Oh, that's sweet. Now, let's read a 1-star. Not very good. The teachers are overall good. The kids are spoiled, hence there is so much bullying. Excuses are always made for these kids and zero consequences. That was in 2017. Very poor leadership that starts from the top. Honestly, I have never witnessed a group of admins with such few brain cells. Oh man. If you have money and you are a bully, you do beautifully. Whoa. The admins will call it trash talk while you get bruises and slammed into walls. Zero accountability, zero leadership. Gym teachers, okay, I can't say that. Admin is weak, lazy. High school, they will teach religion and teach God. Brainwashes. Okay, well, that's just, right. I don't know what to say about that, but do your own research again, and take all this information that you want to. Now, before I make a big decision, I'm gonna collect all the information out there and use that to collectively create my own definition of my own identity. I think one of the things that's really kind of annoying is when you hear one thing in media and you just have an identity around that, and you're not willing to do the research from this perspective and that perspective and this perspective and this perspective. Do the research from everywhere. Don't just watch my videos. Literally go on, some of the Reddit posts, go on Google and do every single thing. So ultimately, you can make sure that you have the best notion possible because your scenario is different than anyone else's. But for the most part, there's definitely going to be some kind of similarities. You know, I think we're missing some nice drone shots. Let's take a look at what Columbus looks like.
She want me to lock it down, but I told her to pass the key. You gotta slow it down, girl, you moving too fast for me. Nobody did it like this, so they wonder, they asking me if I can slow it down, cause it's coming too fast for me. Baby, don't try, just stop it. You should know that I got options. I be fly like I live in the cockpit. Mess around with the money, get drop kicked.
I'm not sure if you know this, but Dublin is actually home to the first Wendy's. And they've got their motherboard company, Nestle, as well a hub here. But that's not all. When you think about employment and you think about all the jobs that exist both in Dublin and in New Albany, it's like none other. Dublin is home to many Fortune 500 companies like Cardinal Health, Quantum Health, United Healthcare, and also so many other things that exist. We're seeing a lot of companies actively begin to build in Dublin, which is really amazing. For the most part, a lot of tech companies that are developing in New Albany were also considering places like Dublin. And when you think about both of these things from a proximity standpoint, they're not that far from Columbus. In New Albany, with over $45 billion in private investments, over 25,000 employees, and over 9,000 acreages of park, there's gonna be employments galore. From companies like Abercrombie & Fitch, AEP, Atena, Facebook, Google, Intel, and now a new military company that's developing, you're never going to run out of active things to do and jobs to find. So in terms of actual industries that exist in both of these locations, a lot of software is big. Manufacturing is also there because that's kind of been our bread and butter in Ohio for the last decade and longer. We're actively seeing a lot of data centers being built. And with that being said, we're also going to see a lot of people in finances come to be. It has to be profitable. I actually did an entire video on the most prominent jobs in the entire greater Columbus area. I'll put it in the description below and as the end part of this video so you can watch it. But both of these locations are definitely developing in career opportunities. Now, if you want to get into a different sector, you obviously can. I got a buddy of mine named Ram, I talked about in my last videos, but he wasn't too happy. And he said, dude, I really want to get into real estate. I don't know how. We figured out a game plan for him, and now he's working with us, and he's pretty happy. At least I tell him to say so. But for the most part, there's definitely different industries and different approaches in all of these locations, and I think that's what makes it so amazing. You see, Dublin's biggest resource of funding is income tax revenues, which is allocated about 75% to the general fund and 25% to the capital improvements program, or the CIP. Dublin's healthy tax base provides the resources necessary to keep pace with the city's growth and underwrites the high quality of life enjoyed by people that are living here. We're seeing a lot more of these projects actively being built. And taxes, for better or for worse, please don't destroy me in the comments. Taxes, they do play a big part in that. The separation happens when you're thinking about household incomes. You see, because in New Albany, it was deemed as one of the most expensive and richest places in all of Ohio because the median salary right now is a whopping $224,000, nearly 200% more than the national median average. More than half of New Albany's households earns over $200,000, and the city's unemployment rate is just 2.2%. That's pretty good. And when people say proximity is power, proximity is power. And for the most part, I get it. With over $45 billion in funding, it just makes sense that the cost of living here is going to be higher. It also makes sense that more people are going to be making more money because the cost of living is higher. It's just a catch-22. But hey, both Dublin and New Albany have great jobs, so you don't need to be worried. Now, as Columbus begins to build more and more in these suburban areas, one of the biggest things to consider has to be this: the commute time to actually get to Columbus. Right, for the most part, you can usually traverse around Columbus between 30 minutes tops. But if you're having traffic and I-70 and I-71 are kind of bad, I mean, it's gonna get, well, a little bit more annoying. When you're thinking about Dublin and you're looking at exactly how far it is as a whole, it's about 24.5 minutes. So it's about 25 minutes to actually get to the city of Columbus. And when you're looking at it from the perspective of New Albany, it's about 20 minutes as a whole. Now, it's not too far. Both these locations are pretty close, and I'll put a map of exactly how long it takes, and I'll show exactly different perspectives and things like that from Dublin and New Albany. The commute really isn't terrible to actually get inside the city of Columbus. Now, my friends and I occasionally enjoy a good night out. We like going to the city and just sort of seeing what's up and seeing what exists. There's not that much to do after midnight, but one of my favorite sayings is this: nothing good happens after midnight either. And you want to make sure that when you're actually traversing to the location, you're traversing to the mainland, it's easy to get to, right? In these days, and in the last few weeks, I mean, the snow has been absolutely horrendous. So make sure you're safe, make sure you have all-wheel drive tires, make sure that you know how to drive in the snow, and make sure you're not doing anything recklessly or anything kind of chaotic, but it's not terrible of a drive. And I think it's obviously really, really enjoyable. Now, when you're comparing these locations, there's not really a bad idea. Now, obviously, both these locations are more on the expensive side compared to other locations in Columbus. Now, SoDo, or the Short North Art District, which is super close to Dublin, they've got some issues with drugs that definitely need a little bit more looking into than anything else. And New Albany, even if the median price point is around $600,000, the nice homes, they go for $1 million up. And as more of these companies begin to build, the cost of living in these locations, they're gonna go up with them. All of these factors have to be taken into account. As more and more people traverse into Columbus, traffic is going to get bad. We need COTA to take care of these things too. But if you're just deciding between Dublin and New Albany and you're considering because of the communities, you're considering because of the schools, you're chilling. I do think Dublin is more of a younger location. I do think it's also family friendly, but you're definitely seeing a lot more people in their 30s and early 40s. In New Albany, you're seeing a more mature crowd than anything else. You're actually seeing more of a laid-back, chill vibe. And in the summertime, there's a lot of things to do in the area with all of your friends and all of the people that live there. So is one better than the other? No, it's completely subjective. But I did mention to you that I was going to talk about the top 10 jobs that are available in Columbus, Ohio, and that video is going to be right here. Watch it, and I'll see you soon. Peace.